All right, guys, welcome back to the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism. We're so glad that you are with us. Obviously, you're thinking about traveling to South Africa as a tourist and checking it out like LaDawn did. We did a great interview with her. This is only going to be part one of three because it was so long. She had so much to say, and we really appreciate her sharing her story. All right, everybody. How are you doing out there on this amazing Sunday? Hope everybody's well. We're doing very, very well here in sunny South Africa. I say sunny today, but it's not sunny. It is actually raining, and earlier it was hail. But keep in mind we're going through, spring, so the weather is mostly good. It was good just the other day. We was out having an amazing time. Of course, we absolutely enjoy South Africa, as some of you guys already know. And if you haven't been to our channel, this is a great time simply because you know what? South Africa is absolutely amazing. I know some people thinking we're talking hyperbole and all these great and wonderful things, but we actually are not. So, like I said, my name is Mark Edward Blanton. I am the owner of the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism. And what we do is provide amazing tours to South Africa. Mostly, we do tours, we do group tours. So you will hear us talking about our real estate tours and things like that, which are, we got one coming up real soon in November of this year. Of course, you can find all that information on our website. And then, of course, we got another group tour coming on in February, which is a real estate tour to Johannesburg and Pretoria. So we do have a lot going on here at the Real South Africa, simply because the demand is high, and honestly, we're kind of like the only company that's positioned to provide this level of service, these level of tours, the access to South Africa properly, and whatnot. So we've been doing it well for over 7+ years. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can go to the testimonials page and you will just see the plethora of people who've come here. And not all of them, of course. Everybody doesn't do a video, but we're going to have a young lady on at some point during this broadcast who has come with us and had an amazing time from what I understand. But she's going to tell us the ins and the outs and what actually happened and whatnot. And of course, you guys can always send a message and then in the comments, and then we can put those up. And like this one right here, how you doing, Sabiso? And yeah, so we'll put it up, and then we can get those questions answered and whatnot. Because I know there's a high demand, for South Africa nowadays. I think because of a lot of the marketing that we've been doing, letting people know what's available, kind of it's starting to pique people's interests in what's happening over here. And from the South African perspective, we're like, oh, we've been doing this the whole time. Where y'all been? And then of course from the American perspective, oh, wait a minute, that's Africa. We're not really sure. Should we be engaging? How do we come and do we do this? How can I say it? Do we do this like every other African nation? I mean, there's 54 nations. I mean, think about it. If you do 50 nations in the United States, they're not all the same, even though they're all Americans. So just kind of take a little grain of salt with that. But yeah, like I say, it's not sunny today, but it's coming. It's coming back. I promise you. I think in the next couple days, the sun is coming back. I'm looking at the temperatures because I'm looking to travel somewhere. I'm always looking to travel somewhere, and South Africa has a lot of places to visit. It's funny. Everybody thinks, well, it's only Cape Town. It's only Johannesburg. Well, I can remember a time because we've been doing this tourism thing for so long. Oh my God, it seems like it's been a long time, and it's so good and refreshing to see another group of people actually coming to South Africa, which are the Americans, and it's to a point now where it was just announced, over here, tourism is like a main thing here. And it was funny. The minister was like, "Oh, there are more tourists from America coming than ever before." And of course, we get a lot of emails from people. We get those links sent to us, and so forth. Private individuals are thanking us for what we're doing, because when you start doing tourism proper, people see it. And like this young lady here, Anadi, said, "Thank you for promoting South African tourism." Yeah, it's going to be a grassroots movement. A lot of you guys heard me say this before. It's grassroots. It's just going to be us. And the best way to do it, the best way to be recognized, the best way to anything is to do it proper. And so that's why coming through tourism like us, we're a tourism company. It bodes well for us across the board, and so forth. So it's interesting. Somebody just said, "Hey, Mark, yes, the sunshine will come back." Hello from Midrand. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, yeah. I hope it does come back, man, because I need the sun. I got to take vitamin D pills just every time the weather goes down. It gets a little crazy. And then it says right here, guys, you guys are doing a great job, and again, we appreciate it. We really, really do. And it's funny because we're in the country a lot. We're always, we do travel other countries, but we're mostly in South Africa. I'm like 97.3%, and that's the actual number, by the way. And we're in South Africa, and we get recognized a lot. We chat with people a lot. Today, me and Tasha was out shopping, and we had just left the gym, and we had an amazing conversation with a brother and his family. It was good to see the two babies, and then the wife. She's drinking her coffee, and the little girls. They were a little jealous. I'm not jealous. They were a little shy. I'm just going to say that. And but we had a great conversation. And the way we see it from our perspective is that South Africa is definitely on its way. You probably don't want to get here when it's all done and baked and whatnot. You want to be part of this, scenario now more than later. So that's why we do tourism, and we do it on a high level. We got it set up where you can pick your own dates, because we get a lot of phone calls. I should probably just go to the mailbag, because the mailbag is like, can I go on this date? What about getting a visitor's visa? What about shots? What about a lot of what abouts? But at least you're reaching out to us, and that's a good thing, because that shows interest. But then we turn around and give you the answers, and then you're like, so you're telling me I could pick a 10-day trip to Cape Town and Durban, and on top of that, I can show up on my dates, and all my stuff is private, and I can actually do all these things. Well, yes, that's what we got. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring on my partner in all of this, and my wife, as you guys already know. Let me see if I can pop her up on this screen. There she goes. Y'all see her?
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, from, as we all have recognized, not so sunny South Africa, but more like a wet, rainy, um, lightning kind of storm South Africa. I hope you guys are doing well today. As Mark stated, we've been doing this for a while. We are very proud of the work that we've been able to do and the relationships we've been able to establish over the last 7+ years. We use those relationships to leverage those for your benefit when you decide to travel with us, whether it be on a real estate tour, which is one of our group tours, or on private tours, which the majority of our clients do choose to do, because they do get private service, because they do get amazing experiences that are one-on-one. The young lady we're going to speak to is a solo traveler, and a lot of people have asked, like, is it okay if I travel solo as a woman? Am I going to be safe? And I'm hoping that she's going to answer a lot of those questions for you. So that's kind of what we are hoping, that she'll just tell you her experience overall, and how the trip was curated for her, because her trip was special. She had a very strong mission in mind. She knows what her goal is, and I'm very interested to hear what she has to say. She gave us blow by blow just about every day while she was here. So she was very excited and wanted to tell her story to you guys. And I know that listening to her story will actually motivate some of you to get off the fence, to look at South Africa, to see what it actually has to offer for you, whether you have a family or whether you're traveling solo. So, so we're gonna chat to her a little bit. There's nothing new really going on here. Like Mark said, we went to the gym this morning. We try to go often. And the family we met this morning was absolutely amazing. They recognized us. We obviously weren't looking our best because we were coming from the gym, but nevertheless, that's typically how life works. If the guy that saw us at the gym today is watching, please chime in. I would love to say hello to you. So Mark, when you are ready to bring LaDawn in, we can get started.
All right, we're gonna bring her in just a moment. I just want to make sure we're getting people to come to the room. I see is that it's up to 38 people now, which is good. Probably by the time she tells the best part of the story, it'll be at roughly about 100 people coming in, because people tend to to like what we do here in the tourism space and so forth. So what I'm getting ready to do, guys, I'm about to bring in this young lady. I hope she's ready. I hope I'm hoping she's ready to tell the story. And I always tell people, every video that you've ever seen of us, I tell people, just tell people the straight truth. Tell them, without it, just this is what it is. And people generally are like, oh, no, this is amazing. And then the funny part about it, LaDawn was like, hey, can we do a video? She doesn't realize that most of the people that we end up doing videos ask us, can they do a video? I remember early on, years ago, I'm talking about years ago, people used to be like, I'm not doing no video. And I'm like, I didn't even ask. Even ask. But then eventually they like, no, that's when they first get here. And then they have a proper experience. And they're like, man, people need to know about this. People need to know. People just need to know. So they're like, well, can we do a video? And I'm like, okay, let me dig in my bag and find my camera. So sometimes when y'all see the video, I'll be like, oh, the sound isn't perfect. That isn't perfect. Because a lot of times it was on the fly and people just really wanted to tell their story because they're getting ready to get on the plane and they're getting ready to go back to the US and they're having some levels of anxiety, to say the least, and whatnot. So in the meanwhile, we're getting ready to have a conversation with. Let's see if we can bring her up.
LaDawn.
Huh?
Hey
And
there.
there she is. There she is.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
Good
you sound
morning.
good.
Good morning. Yes, morning on my side of the world today. So yeah, and it's not sunny
Yes.
here in Atlanta either. We're having the same type of weather. So yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Oh, well, you're not
It's
missing out
probably
anything. Then you're not missing out.
No,
yeah.
no.
It's probably somebody from Atlanta, probably who just landed today, brought all that with them. Yeah, we got to
Probably.
track them down. Yeah, because currently we have other people here as well. We always have people here in country, getting their thing. So I just mentioned, and the bad part was most people, they at the end it's time to go back home, and they have a different reality. So now at some point you finish your amazing tour, and then you had to go back home. Tell me about that last day, and then when you arrive, as you're
So
not smiling anymore.
that last day was very hard for me because it was the last day. And
Uh-huh.
I would say every night Savannah was on it. She sent my itinerary for the next day. And so when I got that last itinerary telling me checkout time and what time I needed to be at the airport, I mean, stomach just hit rock bottom. If I could have figured out a way to stow away in anybody's trunk or closet, I would still be there today, right now. So it was from the time I landed until the time I left, one of the most amazing travel experiences that I've ever had. and I traveled extensively. The people were, Mark, you said it a number of times that we as Black Americans have been lied to. And let me tell
Mm-hmm.
you, if I don't get anything else across on this video, it's really why I wanted to do the video. We have been
Yes.
lied to, not simply about what Africa looks like. You know, the only thing we see is the infomercial with the baby with the swollen stomach and flies flying around their head. You know, people
Mm-hmm.
still have that stuck in their heads. It is probably one of the most modern places that I visited. Very, as you say, everything you do is luxury. Everywhere you went into, everybody was welcoming, everything was modern, everything was lush, everything was luxury, all the things. And the people, I'm going to tell you, one of the people that you set me up with,
Uh-huh.
she really had me crying within the first 20 seconds of our meeting. She
Mm-hmm.
hugged me as if we were long lost sisters. I mean, a real hold on to you embrace, and then took my hands and we sat and talked before we got to the business of the day.
Uh-huh.
And one of the questions I asked her was regarding Africans' feelings about Black Americans, because we've been told so many negative things. And baby, when I tell you, she cut through that stereotype. She said, no, we know your history. We know what you've been through. We've been through something very similar. So we understand. We understand what has happened to you all in America and abroad. And we want
Mm-hmm.
you to come home. And she said something that you guys always say. If you notice when you look around, everyone else has found their way to Africa and made it home. You
Yeah.
guys were the only ones that haven't come back in mass amounts. We want you here. Could you just imagine what would happen if we all came home? She said, we follow you guys. We look at everything you do. We love you. We love you. I don't know who's telling you guys that, but we want you home. And I was done. That was the second time I had a extensive conversation about that topic. I was done. I was done. I was literally done because we've been lied to royally. Royally.
Well, I must agree with you. We still hear these things when people send us emails and they are requesting information so they can come on a tour, and they ask the same questions that we were told to be concerned with, and I understand it because I was told the same thing. I didn't
Mhm.
know. I didn't know. And then we get here, and just like you, but a lot of people don't realize that people think it's hyperbole when we say people have emotional responses and things like, these are grown people, like, in my age or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people don't believe that's happening. And then they get here and they go through the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, mine was a little interesting, right? So
Uh-huh.
I went to Cape Town first, and then I
Mm-hmm.
transitioned from Cape Town to Durban. And so flying into Cape Town, it is, I felt like I was in a picture book, a pop-up picture book the whole time. It is the
Yeah.
most, it's a feast for the eyes. It's one of the most beautiful places. God was doing his thing that day when he said, I'm gonna make Cape Town. It is
Yeah.
absolutely stunning, visually stunning. So I felt like when I landed in Cape Town, oh my God, like this is the best vacation ever. And it's just so much to do. It felt just very like upper echelon vacation, all the things. That's what it was giving, right?
Yeah.
Very international flair, um, a very big mix of everybody there. It was just a beautiful place. It felt like a place that you could live and never get tired of being there because there's just so much to offer. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
got out of Cape Town. I really enjoyed it. But when I landed in Durban, and funny story, I met a young lady in Cape Town that was from Atlanta, right?
Okay.
She happened to know the lady that does our ads, my company's ads, as she knows my cousin as well. So we were introduced in Cape Town. And so we
Okay.
actually got together while we were in Cape Town. And one of the last things she said to me before I left to go to Durban, she said, "Well, you don't have to make a decision. You don't have to buy anything. Don't just take your time and figure out what
Yeah.
you want to do." I said, "Okay, I'll take that. I met you maybe because I needed to hear that message." So that's how I felt when I landed in Cape Town. When I landed in Durban, on the way from the airport to the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
Cape Town doesn't have a lot of trees, but Durban does, and I love trees.
Oh yeah.
And as we were driving, I felt this sense of, the best word I can describe is calm. It just felt like it washed over me. And I'm trying to talk myself out of it, because the last word I remember was her saying, take your time, don't rush, don't rush. But it happened. I felt immediately grounded, and everything around me felt absolutely right. So yeah, my initial thought before leaving was that Durban was going to be my place simply because of the weather, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I really got Africa in Durban. The drivers, the guys all spoke Zulu. Of course, everybody speaks perfect English, but I
Yeah.
heard the local language. I heard the local music in the car. The food, oh my God. Oh my God, I'm a foodie too, but the food in Durban was beyond every
Mm-hmm.
experience. I even had an opportunity to try, and this is probably what not people are not thinking this when I talk about all the um, amazing dining experiences I had. But on the day out, on one of the days out in the tour, my
Mm-hmm.
driver, who was absolutely amazing, he asked me, he said, do you want to get some beef? And I said, yeah, okay, yeah. And so we pull up into this spot like downtown, what I would call downtown, and the local people are there, gathered around their tables eating. And we go in, and this lady takes out this beef and she cuts it up. And it cuts up, it looks tender. It's smelling so good in there, right?
Of course.
I'm ready to eat. I look over my peripheral, I look over and see cows' heads right there. And I said, hey, are we about to eat? Is this what he was like? Yeah, beef. Like, what are you talking? I said, yeah. He said, are you still going to try? So I didn't come all this way for nothing. Yes, I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that meat was so delicious and so tender, I said, how do they prepare it? He said, they just boil it. I said, what do they season it with? He said, salt. I said, y'all got some different salt in South Africa, because our salt don't do this to food.
Yeah.
Our salt don't taste like this. Like, what do y'all got going on? But it was absolutely delicious. So I'm saying that to say, all the food everywhere that I ate was very good, very, very good, very delightful. Yeah. But I felt my
Excellent.
spirit land in Durban, and I know that it's the place that I am supposed to be. I know that that's the place that I'm supposed to transition, soft land my family to the continent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because yes, we live in Johannesburg.
Mhm.
Been here for 80 years, but it's just like every time I turn around, every time me and Tasha turn around, we're back in Durban for
Okay.
some odd reason or not. Even if it's just something we got to do for the day, we like we're gonna be here like 3 days. We just stay 3 days, 4 days, just because it's Durban and whatnot. And then, of course, people. We just recently did a real estate tour there. People, because honestly, people didn't know what Durban was. I say 3 years ago, at least to us, because we put it out and people were like, "What is Durban?" I mean, these are the messages that we get.
Yeah.
Tasha, you remember? Tell her.
I know what they were saying. Where's Durham? Where's Durham? I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
be like it's in the KwaZulu-Natal province, and they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "The home of the Zulus." And then you start explaining it to them, and you show it to them. They're like, "Oh." And then
Yeah.
you say it's on the Indian Ocean, and it's always warm. And then we start going down there and showing them. And then it's like, I think I might want to see that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah.
And I can believe that, because everybody that I've spoken with about it, they've heard of Cape Town, they've
Yeah,
heard
of
of
course.
Johannesburg, they've heard of Zimbabwe. Durban, where is that? So
Mm,
yeah, I'm not shocked that you guys had that reaction, and this is what you do. So yeah, I've
yeah.
gotten that a lot. Yeah.
And so you enjoyed Durban. I like that.
I enjoyed the whole trip. Don't
Sure.
please don't discount Cape Town, but
Oh, yeah,
Durban is,
absolutely.
yeah, Durban is where my heart is. And you know, I feel like, how you look at things online and you wonder, when people are telling their testimony, is it a paid testimony? Is it for real? I'm here to tell you all, it's for real. So I went as
Yeah.
a solo traveler, and I felt extremely safe, um, as a solo traveler, as a woman traveler, as an African American woman traveler. Um, I had excursions on my itinerary that
Mhm.
literally I had to be in the car at 6 a.m. So that meant I would be alone in the car for at least 2 hours going up to Aquila Game Preserve, or when I
Mhm.
was in, and that was in Cape Town, and then in Durban, going up to St. Lucia to the water preserve. So, you had to have a level of trust to be in the car by yourself, with
Yeah,
a
in a
driver,
foreign country.
yeah, in a foreign country, people you didn't know. And I felt so comfortable. Everybody that you all have built relationships with were extremely professional, extremely kind. And everybody said the same thing to me in the car. Like, if you want to talk, there's no question that's off limits. They were wanting to share about their experience. They were wanting to share about what the continent, their specific country, had to offer. And everybody was just forthcoming. And, as we were driving anywhere we were going, they were explaining this and explaining that. But I felt extremely safe. When I landed in Durban, it was, almost getting to the evening. I literally had my stuff put down in the hotel, and I left the room and started walking around. This is like in a metropolitan downtown area. It felt very, very safe. Not one time did I feel like, let me tell you something I did and let you know exactly where I was.
Okay.
When I was in Cape Town, I was getting ready to go to dinner one evening. And so I stepped right outside of my room, my suite. Okay, we'll get to that. Luxury suites. Okay.
Okay.
But I stepped right outside of my suite to put my little selfie stick up, take a few pictures, and I put the latch in the door so the door wouldn't close and lock me out. I'm taking pictures and completely forgot to go back and close the door. I'm gone to dinner for a couple of hours, come back, door is open. Nothing is taken, nothing looks disturbed, nothing. I would never, ever, ever, ever in the Atlanta area or any surrounding areas ever. So that just lets you know how calm I was, because I can't even get out of the car without automatically locking. I come into a door, I'm going to automatically. For me to have my guard down that much, I hope that gives everybody listening or looking the sense of how safe I felt. All of the hotel staff were amazing, very accommodating, very nice. Any and everything I thought I could ask for or need, they were, wanting to share. They were also wanting to know about me. So it
Yeah.
wasn't, I didn't feel like, okay, you're a tourist and I have to take care of you. I'm trying to get a tip. No, it wasn't that. It was, they were really curious about my trip, why I was coming there, who I was, sharing who they were. It was just one of the most warm experiences that I've ever had. Everybody, the drivers, the tour guides, when I got to the excursions, the people that were in charge of the excursions, everybody was exceptionally friendly, and it felt genuine to me because they didn't have to, but it felt really, really genuine.
Well, I would say that we, on our end, because we're here, because we can't just jump up today and just fly to these locations or go to these locations throughout the country. We do build these relationships. We do stop in. We do talk to our people. If something isn't right or we think something isn't right, we make the changes. Like something as simple as having a bath towel in your room is important. So we make sure that they do that, because they're used to dealing with European travelers and people don't realize that. And so we do. So European travelers, they have a different level of doing things. But I know us African Americans, I'm not going to say we're special, but we like certain things.
You
Things
like
have to
certain
be,
things.
yeah, they have to be a certain way. And I think that's where, Tasha probably can tell you better, but I think that's when people come on our tours, they're just, you know, they're so floored and they're like, I couldn't have done this myself. I couldn't have.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
like,
Yes, it's no way, because my itinerary was packed
uh-huh.
every day. That there was something to do in the morning and in the evening, and every every experience was curated. I felt like, I know other people that come to travel with you all, they go to some of the same places, but the level of detail and attention that you put into building a package for someone, it felt very customized. It felt very individualized for me. And I could feel the care, right? So every day it was something, all of the things that you're supposed to see. It's no way. I don't feel like, and I feel like, I do a little okay when I try to plan travel for myself, but it's no way that I would have gotten all of the things, all of the key points that you would want to see while you're traveling in South Africa. All of those were there. And then a couple of days, this is how I know you guys have good relationships with the people that you partner with, or they respect you as a partner. So in a couple of days, one in Cape Town as well as South Africa, the weather just would not cooperate for what was planned for that day on the tour. And both drivers/tour guides in Cape Town as well as Durban, they could have easily said, okay, well, we're going to take you back to the hotel. I don't know what we're going to do. They pivoted so quick. And this is probably some of the most special moments on my trip, because I got to see some things that were not necessarily on the itinerary, but they were so accommodating and wanting to share who they were and their country. They took me to some amazing places. So I like, in Cape Town, I got to go to the Castle of Good Hope. I got to go to an ostrich farm. I got to go to where they tell you about how the diamonds are mined and see, how they go through the process. I got a chance to go places that just were not on the itinerary because of the weather that day. And I thought that was really cool and amazing. And then in Durban, I got the opportunity to visit some of the townships. And so I viewed some properties while I was there too. And this particular driver, I said, well, you kind of was with us yesterday and you drove us around to all of the amazing properties. And now I see these townships. Where's the middle? I want to see where the middle is. He said, do you really? This is the same gentleman that took me to get beef, right? So he drove me to the neighborhood, like, a neighborhood that he was familiar with, that he'd grown up in. He took me to the Muslim Museum. He took me to down on the side of the beaches where he showed me where it was segregated. So I just got a chance to see a lot of real life, everyday living in Durban, in both Cape Town. It was just so cool. And I got a chance to go in Cape Town to the areas where the slaves were. And they had these beautiful colored homes. And the guy said, well, all of the homes, they're colored in a specific way, and the colors indicate the trade that you were in. So not only did I see all the wonderful things you guys had on the itinerary, but because of the people that you partner with, they had enough care and concern to make sure my day was still full. And they showed me some amazing things. It was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely.
And that's the difference between a guide, a proper guide, and a driver, and a Uber driver.
That's right.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, that's the difference. We get a lot of people who maybe they don't come with us, and then they get here and they're like, well, what about all these things that you guys be showing in your videos? And I'm like, because we have proper guides.
Yes.
We have proper, drivers that we use that make this experience a much better experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you just experienced. And
100%.
that gives you a good idea. It gives you an even better view of what South Africa actually is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense, don't it?
It does. It does. And one of the things you always say too, I got a chance to experience that they are wanting to connect and they will reach out to you, but you have to do your part too as well. So I'm in Cape Town and I did the Sips and Souls tour, and it was so interesting that I'm obsessed with YouTube and all things Africa, specifically South Africa, right? And so right before I came, Tuani came across my feed. And so I saw the video of her story and I was like, I wonder if that's the same person, right? And it happened to be. And so the young lady that was my guide that day, Cindy, she was great. But while Cindy and I were at the Black-owned, Black-operated, Black winemaker wine farm, I said all the Blackness because it was awesome, right? So while we were there having the experience, Tuani calls to check on me. And I was like, okay. Yeah, y'all just showing out right now. Y'all just trying to show out, doing too much. Right? So she called to check. and we got a chance to FaceTime. And she actually invited me. Like, she doesn't know me. She invited me to an event that she was having the next day, right? I
Mhm.
didn't go because I had a full day of the real South Africa, itinerary plan. But the
Yeah.
fact that she invited me, the fact that she stopped in her day to call to check, just outstanding. Like, everything, outstanding, outstanding, outstanding.
Good, good,
Yeah,
good, good. And and it's not like we do this once every quarter with a group of people and all this and all that. We do this for everyone that comes in, everybody that comes in the country. They come on different dates. I think sometimes people don't even realize that there are other people in different cities
yeah,
on a very different itinerary, but we're doing this across the country all the time. Like
yeah,
currently, right now, we have people going to Peter Marysburg. We got people here, and they're having their private experiences. So, would you say having a private experience was very helpful or nice to have? Because yours was you had your own driver, you had your own everything versus a group.
yeah. So I travel solo, a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but I travel with groups as well, family.
Yeah.
But I prefer solo travel because you can move on your own time, right?
Yes.
This was very special because I've traveled solo to other places, but I still had to, make sure I got wherever I was going via Uber or whatever arrangements I made, right? You guys
Yes.
really took care of everything. So I didn't have to worry about what time I needed to be somewhere, how I was going to get to wherever that place was. Um, it was just very, very smooth. I was concerned. The only thing that I was concerned about, and it wasn't concern, I was like, how's this going to happen? So when we were on the safari in Aquila, so it was so interesting. There were other groups in the safari trucks, and they were all, the trucks were packed, and I'm the only one riding around with just my driver and just and just me in the truck. But it was cool to me because he gave me very personalized attention, and he said that God must be smiling on you today because you're having an unusual experience. Every animal on the game reserve. He kept telling me, he was apologizing at the start.
Yeah.
We might not see this, we might not see this because this, that, and the other. As soon as he said that and turned around, he said, "Oh my God, oh my God." So those animals out, they are never out. I saw everybody, I saw everything, all the things. But I was the only one, I was the only one at dinner.
Oh.
I'm a person that can go to dinner by myself. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel strange doing that. There was nothing that was of concern for me being a solo traveler. And again, you guys curated such an experience for me that
Yeah.
I feel very safe. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We even like something like that. You might not appreciate it if you've never been on a safari drive, or what we like to call a game drive. That generally, like people that are listening right now don't realize that they normally fill up the vehicle with a whole bunch of people,
Hmm.
and you really can't even get your camera up to take a picture because
That's right.
everybody is looking. So my requirement, that this is the way it goes, is that our people have their own. So if you would have came with one other person, it would have been two people in that vehicle. That's it, and a
Yeah,
guide.
yeah,
And now you get to have a Lux experience
yeah.
above what everybody else was doing, trying to figure out a way to see something because it's crowded.
And it made
You can,
all the difference because he was like, "Do you want me to back up? Do you want me to slow down? Like, what do you?"
yeah.
He was very in tune to making sure I got the
Hmm.
best experience that I could possibly have. And he was so educated. And, I know they know the things that they're supposed to say, but he was really going in depth because we had the time to do so. So, yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Got is an amazing real estate tour coming to Durban. Yes, we just finished one. Now we're getting ready to do another one. So the dates are, go ahead and check it out now, 22nd November to the 1st of December, which is going to give you access to so many different things, so you can go ahead and purchase property. We have land available. We're going to have all types of lock up and goes. We're going to have condos, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments, of course, single family homes, penthouses, you name it. So there's going to be too many opportunities to go ahead and purchase property here in South Africa. Only thing you have to do is go to our website, therealsouthafrica.com, scroll on down till you see Durban Real Estate Tour, and go ahead and sign up. Put your deposit down so you can go ahead and reserve your spot. Now we're going to have a limited availability for a lot of reasons because we want everybody to get great service while they're here. And of course, hotels covered, all these great things. So all I can say is come to sunny South Africa. Mark Blanton, and this is
Dr. Latasha Blanton from the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism.
And we have amazing packages to Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban. So we would like to see you guys here. All you have to do is just go to our website, therealsouthafrica.com, and we'll make sure that your trip here is amazing.
See you here in sunny South Africa.
Hi, I'm Trevor Noah, and I'm South African. And because I'm South African, people from all over the world insist on asking me questions about South Africa. So, I decided to make an ad to answer some of those fascinating questions. Like, how cold and snowy is your Christmas? Well, Tracy, unfortunately, we can't afford snow. Nah, I'm just playing. We're in the Southern Hemisphere, which means when it's freezing in Connecticut, it's fantastic in Cape Town. Klaus sent me this one. Can you play golf in South Africa? Well, Klaus, we actually have some of the finest golf courses in the world, but judging by your 37 handicap, can you play golf? How many stars are your 5-star hotels? Brian wants to know, can I meet the lions? Well, I don't know if you want to meet them, but you can see them on safari. And get this, it's not just lions, Brian. We've got everything. There's elephants, there's rhinos, there's giraffes, there's buffaloes, there's leopards. Come on, man, expand your horizons. Ostriches. Is South Africa fun? Is it fun? Are you even watching this commercial, Michelle? Paragliding, bungee jumping, surfing, river rafting, shark cage diving, hot air balloons, hiking, cycling, wine tasting, whatever this guy's doing. Does that not look like fun to you, Michelle? Does that not look like fun? So, now that I've shown you South Africa, my only question is, when are you coming to experience it for yourself?
All right, guys, welcome to the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism. We are a travel company based in Johannesburg. However, we can get you to Durban because look at what you're looking at. Isn't that amazing? Can't you imagine yourself just hanging out here for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days? I'm trying to tell you, you're probably not going to want to leave like a lot of our guests from the past. However, all you have to do to come here is reach out to our website, therealsouthafrica.com, and you can come and enjoy and see what South Africa is really about. There's so much here, so much to do between the beaches, between the culture, between the food and everything else. And of course, the people here in South Africa, in this place called Durban. We will see you here in sunny South Africa.
For spending time with us today. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on all things The Real South Africa. Thanks again.